Sadly, last time we are going to be going racing this season in what's been the first on the Formula 1 2021 game, but the second season overall, and our first broadcasted live here on Twitch, where if you've been keeping up with us, you would have seen the journey unravel, starting off, well, for you all at Belgium, as that was the first race where we actually started broadcasting, and we finished up here. All three championships are going to come to an end in the Middle East this evening. Tonight are the most premium caliber races we have to offer, that being Tier 1, and there is a title to be decided. There is pride on the line. So many positions, but let's start with the title to conclude. Essentially, it's a fight between the two Alpines. If you were paying attention last time, you will know that formerly ERL Solid, who is now Franek, just sadly missed out on being in the title fight for this race, and now it's a straight up fight against the French powered machines of the two Alpines, who have already won the Constructors and now have to settle it between them as to this season who has been the better driver. As it stands, Matthew 7034, the driver who is not here at the moment, who would take Esteban Ocon's car, is sitting on 167 points, with Arma Kinga on 149. The gap is, excuse me, 18 points, so Arma's got a bit of a miracle job in order to, cancel this out. But subtracting the maximum amount of points away from the gap in total, Matthew needs to score 8 points today at a minimum to secure the title, regardless of what Arma Kinga does, which means a 6th place finish, or actually, no, a 5th with the fastest lap. Sorry, not 5th. Actually, that would be enough. But a 7th with the fastest lap would not be enough. So, even if he doesn't get the fastest lap, he has to be within the top 6, ladies and gentlemen, in order to win this evening. There are already 12 at the moment, so we seem to be quite early. Either that or the drivers are getting a little bit, what's the word? Slowish at arriving? Maybe it's because it's the end and people are like, just can't be bothered, which it's not my attitude, but I understand people have lives, and ultimately some drivers are not fighting for anything bar pure satisfaction. But that is the main fight in the driver's standings. There are some other ones to keep your eyes on. There's a great scrap going on for 4th between Sam W11, Positive, Harvey, Kieran, Hurricane and Pepski, which could end up very interesting as well. You've also got the battle for 10th at the moment with Chirka, Hazza, Tundra, Daryl the Barrel, Pakafan and Kevin Annihilator, with Desert 10, Andrea, Tract, Tap Machine and Briefing Cow making up your top 20. And a few other drivers as well, who have scored points but are just not on the top 20. And in the team standings for Tier 1, despite Alpine already winning it, there is a really epic fight that stretches down to 5th, actually, debatably, I just want to check if it's even possible when I say this, because I do not want to be talking out of my rectum for no good reason. Hippity hoppity, they are not within the property. Okay. Which from 2nd, actually no, from 3rd, sorry, from 3rd. 7th upwards could take 3rd place. AlphaTauri are on 157 points. Red Bull could close on 133, but we'll have to see. But here's how it works. It is Alpine on 316 have already won. AlphaTauri in 2nd on 157, then Red Bull on 133, Ferrari on 132, McLaren on 102, Haas with some great performances recently, if I do say so myself, on 98, with Aston Martin on 90. Then, who are just actually in the fight, Alfa Romeo just outside of the battle, but they're on 89, and Williams on 83. So expect 3rd to 9th to basically chop and change. going into this final race, with Mercedes sitting on 21 points and will be last of the Tier 1 drivers. And just as a fair warning to all the Tier 1 drivers, that any penalties will be carried over. So, yes, this is how the, what's it called, season is standing. We've got, actually 19 of the races here, so let's go through the order. We've got Norton in the Mercedes, the Tier 2 driver, who has shown some more flashes in the pan, but definitely, I think they'd even admit themselves as maybe slightly lower on the HTR ladder at the moment. We've got Red Bull, the standard lineup of Kieran just 22 and Sam W11. Sam we already mentioned in the fight for fourth. Kieran is in another scrap with Hurricane, who will not be here, so he's got a great chance to secure his slot. Packer Fan and Beetle the Beast to make up McLaren, with Beetle being a reserve. If you do hear barking, I apologise, it is my my puppy, who is very, what's the word? She needs a bit of attention because she's small. So excuse me for a moment, chaps and chapettes of the world. Whilst I, actually, if I, how can we learn? Actually, talk. Apologies, stream chat. My dog is very, how can I put it? Because she's a Maltese, so a cross between a Bichon and a Maltese, they need a lot of lovings. They need a lot of attention, as you can all tell. But the thing is that if she goes out, like you are doing now, Mrs. Attempted to leave, you'll start barking. And because you'll get all lonely. Because I'm keeping you nice and cozies. I'm putting my blanket that she absolutely loves. And she's not having it, are you? You're not having it, missus. Are you? This is sort of my kind of dog puppy voice. So, I do apologise in advance. Don't forget to make your comments loud and clear on the stream chat. Oh, is she? Do you want to say hello? Do you want to say hello to the world? Do you want to say hello? She's looking at to be very confused. Because she's a dog. I mean, I'm sure dogs are clever, but trying to understand all that is a little bit out of their league, debatably, in some situations. Hello from Tundra. Thank you ever so much, man, for watching the stream. As you'll be one of our many 20-year races for us. We've got, after the McLaren, as Kizzy Woos is determined to try and leave me room, even though she'll start barking and making more of a ruckus for the neighbours. Which is a thing. So excuse me, whilst I just move my microphone a bit closer. We have got Aston Martins of Harvey, who I think is about to leave the pits first to, actually no, it's McLaren, apologies, who is the team principal, the Tier 1 champion of a good season, but Season 1 champion, but ultimately has been a little bit on the slightly strugglier side compared to last year's McLaren, which is interesting. But alas, it is what it is, isn't it? So, sadly for them, but they are joined alongside Darryl the Barrel, who started off at Haas, but was fired after overtaking their teammate in the Brazil pit lane in Tier 1. and consequently has not had the chance to, really find a stable home since. Moving along to the Alpines, we've already talked about them, they're the two in the title fight, so I'm not going to overbore you about them. But the Ferraris, we've got Jerka in this seat, who is a Tier 2 driver, alongside the Tier 1 racer of Rico, who has only joined us later on in the year, but Rico's had some ups and downs, but overall I think they can be, proud of themselves, knowing that they've done a respectable job given the short amount of races they've done for us this season. If we whack on lap time, whack on the full track map. And speaking of next team to talk about is AlphaTauri, who I'm very sad to report, but this will be ERL Solid, who is now known as Franek. Its final race. Yes, their final race in the whole of Hypertier Racing. It was even debated as to whether they're going to come back, but they decided to come back, put on a good show for us. Again, they've got absolutely nothing to lose, maybe bar for their team in the Tier 1 standings. So, he is the team principal of AlphaTauri, so that will be one of the many team principals roles that will be put up for vacancy within the HTR ranks. But all I have to say is best of wishes to you, Franek. And frankly, I think you'll be having a great future ahead of you if this season is go by. Whilst Andrea, the Tier 2 champion of Season 1, well, I would say reigning, but that's now been handed over to Positive, but we'll talk about him in a moment. It's been a little bit inconsistent, I think. The raw potential's there. There's a reason why the Italians in Tier 1, but they just have the odd too many mistakes, and in my opinion, they should be higher up in the standings. But hopefully, they've taken stock of what's gone wrong this season, and they're the first driver, actually, or one of the first to transition from Tier 2 to 1 in a whole season, so I don't blame them for feeling a little bit like a fish out of water. The next team on the pecking order grid is actually Alfa Romeo, as we're going to go on board with Hazard as we talk about them. He's been a solid driver in terms of points. Racer933, hello, welcome to the stream. Let's go Positive, we'll talk about him now. And Desde's Tanner says Franek is here till next season. Tanner as in like a buddy, or Tanner as in a person? I hope it's I mean I hope they get to stay, but alas, we don't know what they're gonna do, do we? We really don't know. Yeah, we will see how this goes. There's been a little bit of a Gymkhana slide as Andrea says a 126.5. But as we're going through our season review of all the drivers and all the teams at the moment, for Tier 1, Hazard has put in some good performances, I think we can say. They've got some solid performances, but ultimately had the odd, again, little mistake. They've got a lot of potential that's untapped, sitting on 11th, could climb a long way up today. And Positive, well, the Tier 2 champions certainly doing an excellent job in Tier 2, and frankly, I think they're doing quite well if in Tier 1, they're competing this high up the order. It's fair to say they have got a very bright future ahead of them going into our third ever season. As of this moment, before we resume with our season review analysis, Andrea has set the fast lap call with a 126.5. Pepsi there down in 5th, just a second off on the initial opening lap. But the two championship rivals about 4 tenths off, with Matthew being just about faster than Armakinga, but remember, Matthew was sitting in Armakinga's toe throughout that lap, so again, it's going to be a little bit more, we'll see how the reverse helps the Welsh Dragon. To just quickly wrap up the team summaries before I have to go and see to my own dog, because she is barking like there's no tomorrow, like there's a robber outside the house or something, but I can assure you there is not. Pepsi, solid driver, he's picked up many a podium, the odd mistake, but generally there's a reason why he's ranked so highly amongst the HTR faithful. In 6th place at the moment in standings, and for qualifying I should say in 9th in the overall standings. And Tundra has been a late signing for Haas, but has certainly put in some absolutely cracking performances. As Taylor in the Williams, as we're just about to talk about them, sets a 126.4 going onto provisional pole position, which is excellent stuff there from the rookie who's hopped from team to team. But if this is anything to go by, again, like Positive, they've got a bright future in Kevin. Annihilator, becoming one of the 3 league owners, and ultimately giving themselves a good fight in Tier 2, but just couldn't have the distance to go to the very end. But now, heading back to the title rivals as Matthew has set a 126.4, and I do have to excuse myself here. I have to go and see to my doggy because she's really barking her head off like there's some kind of problem. Hello, thank you ever so much to the following: Thomas933, 8Data827317, and MSC Tom for joining us. That's a great corner cutting line there by Matthew, and I will see to my dog now because she is having a right old howler. Excuse me for a moment, lads. Apologies stream chat. And yeah, as it stands, Armour King is, well, actually that lap was a bit of a letting go lap. Are they going to use the McLaren, or are they just being a little bit wary of Beetle Beast? I'm not sure what their plan is, but we'll see what happens with the Welsh Dragon. I think he's coming into the pits as one of the title rivals along with Matthew. So checking out some of the other drivers to see who is on a push lap. I think not many of them are going to be, but Frantic coming across the line on a set of mediums, interestingly. So they'll be hoping to go much longer into the race, but they're coming into the pits. They said a 127.3. Harvey, I think, is on a push lap. I think they are. Well, they might not be, as Daryl has barreled it around the final sector and has retired from the whole of the session in provisional 11th, so they will have a free choice of tyres. They did genuinely barrel it into the side there, so that is a big shame for them. Had a bit of a rocky season, all things considered, and I think they'll be hoping for pastures new. So yeah, it is sadly what it is for Daryl. Meanwhile, let's have a look as Haza has gone very close to pole with a 126.4 as they cut the corner now, but that is a big old thorn in the Alpine shield here. Certainly not what Armour King needs. I mean, as it stands, if qualifying was the race, Matthew would already have done enough. But alas, you know, with Armour King kind of buying his time, taking the first one of the slipstream, it's fair to say that I think Armour will get that kind of return of being the car in front with the slipstream. Oh, is that positive? I think it is. No, it is. Positive has denied the Alpine's chance, so we'll see how this one goes. But yes, excuse me fellas, because Kissy Woos, why are you so bulky today? I've given you an hour-long walkies. That's big for a doggy like you. Yes. Why are you whinging? Come on. You know what you want to do? I can't give you plays because I'm talking to the internet. Can I say hello to everybody? Can I say hello? No, exactly like I thought. So unless you want to say something to the camera... she's very barky. And I understand. She's only 9 months, so yeah. I mean, she's my mum's dog, and I kind of look after her on occasion, so yeah, that's why she's a bit barky. That's all I'll say on that matter. But alas, Matthew is about to start his I think the second lap it would be. Indeed, Thomas933 positive and has a need points for the combined constructors. That is true. Very, very true, as there's a lot to play for, even outside of the title fights. But alas, I think Ferrari is going to let Matthew through over Rico. Smart move. Doesn't want to get in the way of the title contender. Right. There's a bit of a lock on the front right for Matthew as you want to roll the car. And Matthew! Ooh, that was a save! Excuse me, of something there as I lost my breath because Matthew bottled it. Are the floodlights getting a bit too much for him? Does he need to turn down his screen colours or something? Because that kind of pressure is not what you need when you're in a title fight. Is this what Armour King needs? He's going about 2 tenths up here through the first sector. It wouldn't put him any further as Taylor has snatched pole position in the Williams to 126.3. Excellent stuff there from the reserve driver to get a fantastic spot there in first place there, and about a tenth faster than Matthew, which is quite incredible. We're going to see what Armour King can do. Going into this corner, taking it nice and wide, going to break it about 50 metre forward, roll the car through in about 5th gear, keep it into 6th, roll it into 7th, that's it, nice and smooth. He doesn't spin it as Kev has spinned it on the wall, as we can see, so that's 2 cars out of qualifying and only 18 are left standing. Right, here comes the real push. Matthew giving his teammate the toe, doing the gentleman's thing. Is he going to block him? Is there going to be any silly business? No, there's not for Armour. Armour's going to have the full toe and DRS down the start-finish line. He's going to sit in the Alpine slipstream, but can only get 5th with a 126.6. That's definitely not what you want to see if you are a supporter of Armour King. Listen, Racer 933, doggos, I stand doggos. Like, they're such a great companion. I think Kizzy's problem is she's a little bit too, because she's a small doggy, right? We're always in the house, to, give her lovings and support. But she still needs more affection. We give her play every day and all that, and she still demands more. So, it's like a case of, well, we can help you, we want to love you, but there's a point where it just gets a bit too much attention and you're being spoiled, and that's not a good thing. So if you do hear a barking dog, my apologies. There's a yellow flag again. I'm not sure who it is at this moment in time. Let's see, as I think Rico's on a push lap now, on the soft tyre, rolling it into 4th. He comes across the line with a 126.8. Puts him into the top 8, not a bad shout, not a bad shout. As Harvey's on, obviously a cool-down lap, and these two having a good old scrap. They're already practicing for the race. Is this the victory lap that they're already planning to do? As Matthew goes wide, but I think that's kind of deliberate. Is that psychology, mind games? Something to give his teammate the toe? Wow, that's going to be an interesting one, but Armour King follows him in, trying to get that precious few seconds over his teammate there, as Armour will have to sit in the pit lane now. And speaking of trying to find cars who are on push laps, I think Franek is on one. Again, last time out of Mexico, just knocked themselves out of contention for tonight's championship decider. And alas, they've put in a great season though regardless. I mean, the Chinese Grand Prix was, in my opinion, I've not seen many races at HTL, things considered, but one of the greatest drives I've seen with what they might call luck, I call it skillful play. They are about 1 second up here, 1.2 seconds approximately, so that would put them in the approximately 1 minute 26.1 region, which would take them to pole position. Let's see what Franek can do. Franek clear, are they going to get pole position? Here comes the DRS in 7th gear, we're going to charge it to 8th at just the right time. It is pole position, it's faster than I forecasted on 125.9 for BRL Franek. And I'm sure on the final race here at HTR, they're going to be very happy with that one. Taylor losing their front wing, but doing an excellent bit of rallycross, I've got to say. It was a nice exhibition of rallycross driving. Andreas retired from the session. Let's see, have they bottled it? I do not know. We'll have to jump on board to one of the Williams cars of Taylor to see if Andrea has bottled it or not. I believe he has. He's probably just spun on that corner, getting a little bit too power down, because again, this corner, not this one, but the next corner is one of the hardest to nail down. Let's look on the right hand side. We should see, yes, I think they did beach it. I think they did, chat. What do you think? What do you think, stream chat? I think you beached it. Poll predictions from Tom. Do you know what? I think it could be an Alpine. I'm not sure which one. but I think the pressure's going to make a diamond here. Someone raced Tom. Oh, jeepers. As Taylor's coming into the pits. But alas, let's see what Positive can do. Because on a push lap now, obviously, there's not much time left in the section. Tier 2 champion, I should say. Not got much to really lose at this stage, so we'll see what happens. They're up into 7th. Again, really delaying it late with that gear shift. Breaking down into 3rd gear, into 4th, into 5th, into 6th. Now they're going to run. So as Franic's retired, clearly satisfied with that lap. As Positive move up to 7th place. Yeah, not a bad return, not a bad return. As both the Alpines are on their outlap now, with a Mercedes blocking them, and I believe it's Briefing Cow is in the Alpine sandwich. They're all getting in the slipstream because they know they've got this 1 minute lap time they need to set. They've only got 1 minute, so they have to get this lap nailed down if they are to improve their position. Hazza has started his lap, but crucially, so has Matthew. Let's find out how the British driver will get along this evening. Matthew charging down in 8th gear. You've got to brake at approximately the 100 metre board here as you roll the car through. Excellent stuff. It's a yellow flag, but I think it's just someone else doing this, so it's not too bad. Rolling it in 4th, trying to minimise the, what's it called, wheel spin you get from the rear tyres. Pushing it all the way up to 80. You want to take the track, easily take it wide off that curve, as then you're going to go on the yellow marker board. Then, right, now we're going to shift it all the way up into 6th. You can definitely hop that inside curve. Matthew going a bit slower now, as we'll check with his teammate, who's also going slower. Again, this is not what either driver wants. Matthew clearly wants to get pole. He really wants that pole position, but Armour Kingdom needs to beat him and be with him. Realistically, he has to beat him by some margin if he's to get any hope. Norton doing the sensible thing, let him out the way. I think Norton may have compromised Armour Kingdom's lap there. That's something for the title fight nobody wants to see. But we'll see if my prediction of an Alpine will come true. Armour Kinga, he shaved off about 7/10. That would slide him up into 7th place ahead of Positive, which is going to help it. The car cleared off the start line, isn't it? Which always helps. Excuse the dog in the background, she's really having a howl today. As Hazza sticks himself in 2nd, Armour Kinga is up to 7th, but Matthew across the line, he's improved, and he's up to 2nd place. So, on their final race, ERL Franick, formerly known as Solid, is in pole position with Matthew in 2nd, Hazza 3rd. What can Harvey do? They're only about 2/10 down. Again, it's very close between them, Taylor and Hazza. So the Aston Martin driver, formerly McLaren, could easily take a 3rd place on qualifying, which would be a fantastic achievement for them, all things considered. Let's find out. He's going to roll the car through now, into 5th, into 6th, into 7th. He's going to take the DRS on, up into 8th. It's 2nd place, demoting Matthew down a position. Harvey with a 26.1, and so is Tundra on the softs, gone even faster. Incredible stuff there. I don't think it was quite to the Haas's game plan, but it works either way, as the Hungarian has put themselves on the front row at the blink of the death. So, it's time for your final Tier 1 grid for season number 2. As Kizzy's making a very big entrance to the public. I think that lap from, frantically, I think that lap was very solid from the Polish driver there, Tom. As they're on pole position with Tundra in 2nd, Harvey in 3rd, Matthew, the title contender, as it stands, will win the championship in 4th. Hazza in 5th, Taylor in 6th. A great result from them. Andrea in 7th, Armour Kingdom down in 8th, not what the Welsh Dragon needs. Positive 9th, Jerka is in 10th, Pakafan 11th, Rico's in 12th, Kieran 13th, Pepsi 14th, Sam 15th, Briefing Cow 16th, Kevin 17th, Beetle the Beast 18th, Darryl the Barrel 19th, and Norton is in plumb last. But it's not down or out for the race, I'd say. And this is going to be a real test. Now, here's a spoiler warning. It's going to be dry. I think that the main strategy you want to do around here is soft to medium or medium to soft. So, depending on what happens in the race. And if you all excuse me again, she is really, really barking. And I don't know what it is, because all that's happened is that my mother, has gone to visit someone, but the dog, even though this has happened so many times, she's getting very barky for some reason. No, do you all know how to help me in the situation about my dog? Like, this has never happened before. We've done plenty of commentaries together, as you all know. And she's still barking, so I don't know what to say. But with that said, this is going to be a very interesting race, especially for the title, because remember, we will be doing Victory Donuts tonight, the penultimate of the whole of Season 2 of HTR. Actually, good question, Tom. No, Kizzy's not hungry. She said there are plenty bowls of food. She absolutely wolfed some down. Anything I can think of is toilet, but we've got you know those puppy pads down all over the house, so she can go and use them. And she's got all her toys with her. You know, it's not like there's any issues, so to speak. She gets very scared when humans or anything really is outside the window. I've tried to tell her. Just like I'll give you in the doggy voice. Kizzy, there's nothing wrong. It's only the bins. But she clearly just does not understand that, and that's fine. She's a dog. I'm not expecting her to. So, yeah, this should be a very interesting Grand Prix, I think, and I think Kizzy's wanting to make her presence known in the Grand Prix. But no, I've already checked. She's got plenty of food downstairs. She knows how to flick the bowl. If you just joined us, welcome. All 15 of you, thank you so much for tuning in to Hyperterrorist. My cats got so scared when my grandparents come around. They go hide under the bed. Oh, Tom. I understand that. I think we've got the opposite situation, but there we are. For those who just joined us, welcome to Hypertier Racing. This is the Season 2 Tier 1 of our most premium drivers finale. It's an Alpine battle for the drivers. They've already won the Constructors, but it's Matthew versus Armakinga. The English driver starting in 4th place with the Welsh Dragon down in 8th. All Matthew has to do is come in the top 6, and then regardless of what happens to Arma, he will be crowned the Season 2 champion. For the drivers anyway. If you'd like to follow us, some more, you can always check us out over on our Discord page if you'd like to drive for us for our next season. Season number 3, as the countdown has started for this epic finale. If you'd like to catch all the clips when they get released, you can always check out our YouTube page or on our Twitch page. We do post funny clips clipped by many of the public. Any, of course, funny clips could also be posted to Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, so make sure to check those out. If you want to give us some money, you could give us some Discord Nitro over on our Discord server. That will allow us to enable better operations of the league, or you can give us some money right now by giving us a subscription, and we'll massively appreciate it. So the lights are gonna go for the formation lap. I got you there, didn't I? Let's have a look at what tyre strategies everybody's got on as we're all on board with Franek in their final race and their final formation lap for HTR. Interesting. So we've got a mixed strategy here. No. Oh, and Harvey's already made a collision with someone. I'm not sure what for, but that's going to certainly compromise them, as they will not be able to warm up their tyres. Thank you so much. It's no problem, Tom. It's the thought that counts. You can always spread us by sharing the stream around with all your friends who might be interested in Formula 1 league racing. But with that said, the top 10 obviously have to start on the tyres they qualify, which is the softs. But interestingly, only Pepsi and Briefing Cow have picked the softs. The rest of them are on the medium tyres, so this could be interesting. Maybe drivers like Kieran, I'm thinking. Sam, the Red Bulls, you know, Kevin possibly, could be within a great shout of some wonderfulness. My race winner prediction, I'm gonna say Franek. I think it's the psychological release of having no pressure and nothing to fight for, and just being able to perform is going to enable him to win the race. It's my opinion. And Kevin's been disqualified for no reason on the formation lap, and so is down on the barrel. So how have they collided? I think the stewards will have to investigate that one. But for these two, for the Alpine coloured, for the blue, electric blue galoo cars, it's going to be a fight. Stream chat. Well, be careful what you wish for, Tom, as I know you are a racer in Tier 2. Who do you think's going to win Stream Chat the championship? In my opinion, I'm going to go with the less likely bet. I'm going to say R14. It's a gut feeling. There's no actual logic behind it, but as someone who has spent time living where Arm is from, I totally a tiny bit more, you know, kind of understanding in how the dialect is spoken, and thus with how we operate as people in our kind of sub-region of Britain. I understand how it's all going to work. So this is it. I'm actually getting emotional because this is the final race we'll have together in Tier 1 this year. I'm tearing up. But the 10 red dots will be coming on for one final time here in our premium racing. It's Hyper Tier out and away we go. A fantastic start by Matthew. He's yeeted past Tundra like he's standing still, and it's going to get Harvey going down to turn 1. How's this all going to work? There's a Ferrari diving up the inside, but Matthew doing an excellent job here, but managing to keep on the third. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. He needs to be a bit of a prost here and think mathematically and don't do any stupid risks. Or not be, as I call, a blithering idiot about it. Meanwhile, let's have a look through the order. As Harvey trying to get frantic, but Harvey not quite having the pace. Is that going to give Matthew the opportunity he needs? Not quite. Matthew maybe start to feel the pressure, as we saw in qualifying. 4th is Taylor. Tundra down to 5th, but there's a lot of time for him to recuperate. Andrea is getting pressured in 6th place. There's a McLaren off, but we'll check that out in a second. There's a great scrap going on here for 6th place. No, it's not the title fight, but excellent defending there by Andrea to keep these great 8 points going, as R14 is down in 9th. This is definitely not where he needs to be. He's got to put a good prediction race, so that's a good shout to be fair. But yeah, Arma's in 9th. We've got Pepski in the other half in 10th, Rico in 11th. Briefing Cow is doing an excellent job here in 12th place. Positive down in 13th, not what the Tier 2 champion would be expecting. Kieran's in 4th. There's a yellow flag again. I think it's a McLaren. Is it? Oh, it's Beetle the Beast. Oh no, they've lost their front wing. I mean, it's kind of a theme. The Beetle the Beast crashes on lap 1, and sadly, the fortune has not happened again, and thus he'll have to go on to the sort of hards to the end, sadly. But Franek is leading this race as it stands from Harvey and Matthew. But there's a great scrap going on here. There's a few cars gone wide. I think Tundra's one of the ones involved. Beetle the Beast is retired. That is a bit of a shock to no one. No disrespect, but they always seem to retire in the early stages of the race. I don't blame them for leaving the session. This was their chance to shine. They didn't quite do it. And there's a great three-way scap here between Pepski and Jerka. Pepski scything through Jerka, and Hazza is going to claim the place back, and Rico is drifting off in the distance there. Surely a safety car has to be called out now. Those geezers on softs are going to be absolutely licking their lips if one is called out. I think Rico's able to get going again, but man, that was very scary for the Finnish driver, who's certainly not had a good time in Tier 1 as it stands. But going back to this fight with Jerka, the Tier 2 second place runner-up is basically got nothing to lose, and is trying to show all the potential TPs as to why he is deserving of his spot at all. Is that a bit of a brake check? Is that damage for R14? That is not what you want to see at all. As Andrea goes very, very, very wide. But now, there's not much going on at the front, so we'll turn our attention further down as R14 is getting past Jerka in the crucial championship fight here. He needs to get past to finally accept the fast lap of the race, but R14 is up in 8th place and now can start the charge. I think Jerka has got some damage. Actually, a couple of cars hitting in now. So, Andrea, Hazza, and Jerka all coming in for their stops. So, there's no way, I was going to say, there is no... What? Andrea's going to take mediums to the very end of this race. Well, I hope for his sake, along with Hazza's and Jerka's their safety cars, because otherwise that's not going to happen. But this has pushed R14 up into 6th place. Now, this is starting to put him in contention. But, alas, Matthew is still in the top 6. So, as it stands, the Welsh Dragon will be the Welsh runner-up. Dragon as it stands, and I think that's a good... I think Tom's point here about McLaren bottling the start is a very good summary of the analysis there for the Papaya team. But with that said, the top 3 is within whiskers of each other. I don't know why we don't have it on the leaders aircraft. As Matthew is within DRS, so it's an epic fight here. Oh, and there's someone off. Oh, it's a Williams. Taylor, who was doing so well, is dropped down the order in that corner there. That right-hander is a real pain in the Theleni, I will say that much. But he's got a lot to do now. He has to try and keep himself focused and get back into the race with those baking hot tyres. There's luckily no contact with the Mercedes of Briefing Cow, who's going to not let him move past. No, he won't. Now he has to sit in the slipstream. But Tundra having to take evasive action there, and now the Mercedes, not having DRS, is forced to pretty much let the Haas through. On top of this, the Red Bull and the other Williams. It's going to be a bit chaotic here. What's going to happen? Sam is through. What about Taylor? He's dropped all the way to 10th now. But he will have a bite of the cherry. And there's someone off. It's Matthew! Matthew spun round! And that is going to cost the championship. Was there some contact with Pepsi, I wonder? I don't know. But this could be title deciding. This could be title deciding. If he has damage, if he has to pit, he will drop out that top 6, as Tundra is going to make it work. There's a bit of contact with Matthew here. If Kieran and Tundra can get past, Armakinga has a chance. I don't think he'd secure it as it stands, but he has a chance. As Tundra has got him past, but this is an epic scrap here. Matthew all the way around the outside. It's not quite going to work. I think it's the Williams of Taylor is off again, sadly. He's a bit too keen maybe on re-entry with the track. But as it stands, Matthew's just about holding it, but he's now in a pack of cars, and this is going to slow him down because he has to keep fighting with them. But he is in the hands of Tundra, one of the end season's fastest drivers, and thus I certainly think that I'm excused if he can stay with the Hungarian. He has a great chance at some, getting back. But he's not going to do that. He's not going to listen to the plan. He's just going to go for it. He needs to get every position, and thus he has managed to get into P5, which will confirm him as champion. But Armakinga now knows he's got the psychological advantage. He's got a little bit more experience than Matthew. It's fair to say he's better at coping, I think, from what I've seen. At least from my analysis so far, in these kind of tighter situations than Matthew, but Matthew's still turning a save into a positive and managing to keep himself in 5th, which is all he needs to do. Meanwhile, Briefing Cow moving the Red Bull all the way onto the gravel trap nearly, but alas, it's stuck. There's no reason to give a penalty, the game doesn't believe so, but I'm sure Sam will be furious at that one. He's in a fight for 4th, remember. Someone's off. I think it's Taylor again. Have they retired? No, they've had a spinaroo. It's just not gone Taylor's way today. Rico has jumped past on the hards. But meanwhile, back at the front, Franic's in AI. Franic is disconnected, and thus this has surely got to be the move that Harvey's been absolutely frothing for. Right, it's not going to be too much of a contest then. With the DRS, they're going to go side by side down the start-finish straight, but it's going to be Harvey before the braking zone will take the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix, and that could be pretty big for AlphaTauri's hopes. Armakinga is in 4th, Matthew is in 5th, Tundra's in 6th. Meanwhile, because he doesn't have DRS and is on the mediums, Kieran swamped past his teammate and by Briefing Cow. But interestingly, this could be a great fight, and Kieran's got the popcorn seat. Sam going all the way to the curb, getting a bit off on the traction there. Maybe he had a setup that's a bit too responsive on the rear, maybe. But alas, it's Briefing Cow in this battle 7th. Briefing Cow 7th, Sam 8th, and Kieran's in 9th. But Matthew spun, chat. Matthew spun. Whew! It's not like Matthew to bottle it up in these kind of situations. But thankfully, he's kept it. And Tundra now. The number 95, I'm sure in honouring of Lightning McQueen from the Cars movie franchise, the protagonist who's a NASCAR, is sitting within 6th. Again, they've had a great season, I have to say. Even though it's short, it's certainly been a sweet one. But Armakinga just needs to knuckle down now, get ahead of Pepsi. They're on the same tyre life with those softs. There could be a cheeky undercut from these top 4. Franic is he back? Is he back a set? Yeah, Franic is back. Not making a pit stop though, as Darrell has barreled it around in the same place as Matthew. and hence he's now down into 18th place. But Franek managing to get past the other Aston Martin of Harvey, and the fight continues. Andreas retired from the session. It's a safety car. It's a full course safety car, and the drivers who are a little bit further back surely will want to take advantage, like Hansa, Jerka, maybe not Rico, but Taylor. Surely they will be fuming, those drivers, the fact they missed the safety car. And yes, Hansa's going to do it. Is he going to go on hards to the end? As Darrell has barreled through getting a penalty through speeding under the safety car. And I think at this point they just do not care. They're doing their victory donuts, they're spinning around. And I think Darrell will be retiring very shortly as Jerka and Hazard going on to a set of mediums to the end of the race. This should be a very interesting strategy. Now, for the other drivers, this is a question now. Hey, thank you so much, MJ Wood. You're the first time commenting. Evening for Doodle. Thank you so much, MJ Wood. It's all good. You just joined us. We're in the title fight at the moment. As it stands, Matthew is champion. But the safety car's come out after Andrea has retired and Darrell has barreled it around a couple of times. So we're going to see what will happen. Thank you all so much to the 12 of you who are tuned in. It's really nice to have a nice live audience with us this evening. It really is awesome to see. But alas, will the leaders take advantage of the safety car? Yes, Franek will take advantage. Harvey is going to take advantage. Will Pepski make the call himself? Will he come in for a set of soft tyres or will he not? Yes, he will. Crucially, he will make the call. With Armour. And there's going to be a double stack in the pits! Oh, this is a disaster for Matthew. There's going to be a double stack. Armour's going to have to wait. And Matthew will drop out of the top 6. He's falling past Sam, past Positive, maybe even Pakafan. Not quite. But he's down into 10th. And that is not a good thing at all there. Being in 10th place is never where you want to be. Armour Kinga is in the top 5. So, let me whip up the calculator and I will let you all know how it's all boogity-ing in the standings, because that's the main thing you all care about. Right? You all care about the title fights, something else really. But as it stands, according to my very complex maths of 19 minus 10, Matthew is still champion as it stands. If Armour Kinga can get past a couple of cars here, the gap is 9 points live, according to my analysis. Oh, sorry, it's 10 points. My bad. But Armour Kinga, if Matthew is 9th, Armour needs to win and nick the fastest lap to win on countback. Actually, that's a good question. Who's had the more wins? Because that's what was decided in Formula 1. That is a genuinely good question. And from my analysis, actually, of sieving through each of the, what's it called, races. If I get this down properly, yeah, it's been 4 wins to Matthew. So Matthew would win on countback, as he's had 4 wins to Armour Kinga's 2. But alas, it's going to be a very interesting fight. The gap is 18 points, Matthew. That's the most win. Yeah, that's true. That's very Cody King. Why am I saying tring? I'm just so excited. What can I say? Armour Kinga has to win. Yeah, I'll get P2 and faster. Exactly, MJ Wood. Exactly. 28 for your great analysis stream chat. Armour Kinga now. He's got to fly through a few cars. Harvey, interestingly, opted for the hards to the finish. So there's going to be one car I think we'll be able to get past. Kevin, interestingly, up in 3rd place. Williams driver not choosing to pit under the safety car, and thus he will be a little bit susceptible to an overtake from the likes of Pepsi, Armour, Cow, Sam backwards, because his tyres are simply just more worn and he's trying to burn all the fuel out of his car, which is a clever strat. and Franek going on to a new set of mediums. Again, the only difference at this stage, really, is that Harvey will catch up later in the race because his tyres will not go off the cliff on hards compared to the mediums of Franek and Kevin and Co. But that is basically it. Exactly. That's exactly MJW. I'm glad MJ Wood you're paying attention. You know, Matthew needs top 6 as pointed out at the start, and right now he's down to 9th, so he'll have to get past a couple of cars all on the same tyres, like Tundra, Sam, and Briefing Cow, some of our, of course, most premium and elite drivers we have on offer. Because of Daryl the Barrel, who's about a minute off, I'm not sure if we're going to be going under green flag this lap. Oh, excuse me. Or whether it be next lap. Daryl is still racing, so we'll see how this one goes down. But yeah, stream chat. Who do you think is going to win this title fight? Do you think Matthew's still got it in the bag, or do you think the pressure is starting to mount for the Alpine driver? But Matthews dropped to 10. Oh no, he didn't. Sorry. Sorry. I was thinking, wait a minute, has Matthew dropped into the safety car? No, he hasn't. It's a Packer fan coming into the pit stop, getting a brand new set of tyres, knowing the fact Daryl will be a little while, Baron will swear on the circuit, and basically he's making his mediums fresher. That could be a smart strategic call. Again, I did that in Mexico in Tier 2. And it will Matt to win the championship Haas 1-2 finish. Do you know what? With the Haas 1-2 finish, listen, Red Steve 93. That did happen. I'll be having a party that will last a very, very long time. And that's all I'm saying. A family-friendly party, of course. But a party's a party. So yeah. But alas, so. Yes, this is going to be a very interesting restart. I think it's going to be Franek, who this might be Franek's last ever safety car launch with us, restart, which is quite a shame, the fact they decided to leave, but they want to go on to pastures new. Again, whenever a great driver reaches the top of one mountain, there's always a new one to climb, isn't there? And as if you're the esports champion and you've defended it for the most amount of times, like say 10, there really is always a new level to climb, and I think that's what Franek is seeking to do. We'll miss the pole, I'm sure, and number 21 will never be quite the same, I think, in an AlphaTauri here at HTR. But Daryl is so far behind, but the game says, you know what, we've had enough, and doesn't care about their Aston Martin driver despite it leading, and the safety car restart is on this lap. So, this is going to be a bit of a dash, boys. We've got about actually 18 laps to decide the world champion of Tier 1. And Kieran has collided with Norton. And that's going to put their races both in jeopardy as both have received time penalty. But alas, it's down to Franek now. When he wants to get going, he's not decided to speed up the tempo. He's taking his time, he's taking his sweet boogity, and now it's time to go racing, it seems, in the eyes of Franek. As Harvey, Kevin, Pep, pretty much everybody is following like a snake on a game on your Nokia. But alas, is Armour King going to get past? No, he's going to sit back for now. Not trying any rash moves. Pepski is bottling out. Bottoming out. Whoa! As Tundra got a little bit too happy on the throttle, and he's down a position, as that means Matthew is up into 7th place. Managing to get past the Red Bulls. Daryl getting another warning. But alas, Pepski is into 3rd, overtaking Kevin, who's struggling on those worn medium tyres, clearly being costly. Matthew knows he needs to get past the Annihilator as fast as possible. The Tier 2 driver doing a great job, but alas, he's going to send it through the inside. Kevin not fighting it too hard, knowing that stakes at play, and Packer and Rico have retired simultaneously. There could have been a collision there, but alas, it is 2 more cars out of the race, it seems. But Armour King is in 4th, but Matthew, crucially, is back to that magical number of 6th. So it doesn't matter what Armour King is going to do at this stage. Matthew is the provisional world champion for Tier 2 as it stands, and Harvey, who's running in second, will be handing the crown to the English driver. Last Kieran getting past Kevin, so a lot of drivers seem to get past Kevin, because obviously his tyres are just much more worn, aren't they? I agree, MJ Wood. I do hope that we have a better restart. I think it was a better one than last night, because the Academy Race Trial, the realistic format, and it wasn't the cleanest of restarts, let's say the least. It was a bit of a Magello 2020, if you catch my drift. But Frantic stealing the fastest lap away from the Alpines, which is not what Armour needs, as it stands. Briefing Cow was thinking about a move, but decided not to. Pep. Having a bit of a lock up there. His car's certainly bottoming out a lot, so possibly a low ride height maybe, as Norton dropping down the field sadly to the likes of Hazard, Taylor and Jerker, all getting past the Mercedes driver, who is doing very well to actually be in the race. I think by their own standards, I think they'd be pretty content the fact they're finishing, because at this rate they might actually grab points, which I think they'd be over the moon about. I'm not just saying that out of pity. I know them very well, and I think they would be very accurate in me saying those words. Is he? Yellow flag. I think it's Tundra. Oh, is there some contact there? Yes, Tundra's lost their front wing, and one of the star performers of recent races has come crashing down like a bunch of potash fertilizer. And now this is not good, and not what Haas needs to see in their fight for 7th in the combined standings. But alas, as Positive gets past his pops, his dads, as he would say, but Matthew, crucially, even with all the chaos, still in 6th, as Briefing Cow is in a Mercedes sandwich. What am I saying? An Alpine sandwich. Though, fun fact, Groupe Renault, part of their shares are owned by Daimler. The DRS is going to be enabled, but not this lap. It will be at the end of this straight where the DRS detection will kick in, because it's on the start of the new lap. Frantic building up an excellent lead because Harvey is on the hard tyres, but let's see what's going to happen here. The Mercedes driver doing an excellent job this season, certainly considering, you know, the car generally. There's been a yellow flag, and I think that's Norton and a couple of other cars going for a spinaroo. But is this what Matthew needs? Darrell has barreled out of the race, but crucially, Briefing Cow has moved to 4th, and that is going to put the Alpines side by side on track. A VSC deployed as Armour nearly went into the back of Briefing Cow there. But alas, virtual safety car time. Packers left. We're down to 15 runners. Norton's going on Haas to the end. So is Tundra. But Matthews left the session. He's disconnected at the worst of times. An Englishman could be susceptible here, depending on how long this is. Armour Kinga, without being obviously too egotistical, will be absolutely buzzing like Tigger, knowing the fact their championship rival and teammate is out and DRS is enabled, and he'll be dropping like an absolute stone brick because the AI is just not as fast as the humans, and Kieran knocking him out of the first position. But again, Armour Kinga though, he's got to do his part now and climb his way back up the order. It's an absolute pity, but he's got to do his end of the stick. He can't just have Matthew drop all the way to last. He's got to do his business as well if he's to close it. He needs a minimum of a second. There's a Ferrari off in the distance through the right-hander. There's a yellow flag through sector 2 and 3, but it's not going to affect sector 1 as Kieran, doesn't matter about the title for him, he's on softs, he's on a much faster tyre. It will wear out in a couple of laps. Armour still pushing all the way around the inside, but in the end I think he's thinking tactically and letting Kieran be his kind of shield here, and letting him charge foot being his sword, and charging him forward away from his teammate as Matthews rejoined. So thankfully the damage is very minimal as only the Red Bulls have got on past, but again Armour's not climbed up loads of positions either. So alas, Armour Kinga's not champion as it stands. It's still Matthew, even though he's down in 8th. It's certainly not the greatest performance by Alpine standards as Taylor's picked up a 3-second time penalty, only second out of the current races, which I'm surprised about. I thought there were going to be more penalties around Bahrain, not going to lie. As we're approaching the halfway mark, as it stands, Armour Kinga is leading this race. And Matthews left again. His internet has caused issues. I think Tundra's round as well, which is a big shame. And despite them resetting to track, Matthews' internet's disconnected. So, how much will this be for? How long will this last? Is this going to be the opportunity that Armour Kinga needs? Again, Just because he's disconnected, he needs to get into a minimum of second. As you all in stream chat pointed out, he needs to be second at a minimum with the fastest lap if he's to have any hope of winning this race. But alas, R14 now is still pushing. Matthew's internet is playing up, but Positive is not quite near enough to catching him. And now we're going to go board with this little fight here that could help R14 out, as Pepski Man going all the way to the inside of Breathing Cow. Raw Cow not leaving enough, lots of space. I'd say enough, but a lot, forcing Pepski to ride the curb. Is he going to go around the inside? No. Cow is going to have it as it stands. And as this fight's going on, R14 is just thinking, when can I get past these cars? Because they're all very crucial in his hunt to win the championship fight as it stands. But Matthew, now dropped tonight behind Positive, his internet is basically killing him here. And this is the absolute worst time for his internet to go away. As that said, ERS has turned on. He's going to be pushing all the way down to the line now to try and see if he can get past anybody. Again, not thinking about it as it stands. The Tundra's pitted and got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Kidsy's so excited, I'll tell you now, she's thinking this is the greatest thing in her existence. She's only 9 months old as well. But alas, Kieran having a great fight with Pep now, and this is going to play into R14's hands, so it's important we give this a watch. The two white cars pushing each other down the start finish strip. It's going to be Kieran who just gets Pepsi, sorry, will get the better run on the medium tyres, and will get DRS to boost him through, as R14 also gets DRS amazingly. Breathing Cow's a sitting duck. He's got the flashing light, which means he has less than 10% of ERS left, and I can vouch for that one, which is definitely going to slow down his operation slightly. But with that said, R14 now is going to try and scoop his way through the inside of the corner, but he's not quite going to do it just yet, as Matthew is down to 10th, but 5 seconds off now. The crew, as Cow is into 3rd, Kieran's in 4th, Pepsi in 5th. It's like a lottery, this little group of cars. But Kieran softs now, all starts to grade again. They're not very strong, as Kizzy is nice and fast asleep now. But with ignoring her, she's had a little session of she's done her crowd cheering for the Alpines, as Kieran is definitely struggling now. Those softs are only 7 laps old, you know, which is very, very old for them, and they're going to start to wear. I will tell you that from my experience driving Bahrain. Racer 933, me, Jeff. Is there any rain, Jeff? It's a desert, what do you think? Mio. Yes, that's very true, a Racer 933. Bahrain, out of all the tracks in the game, is the least likely to have a downpour, as Matthew is down into 11th. This race cannot get any worse for the English-British driver. And, well, he's going to need a good old safety car and a Hail Mary to get himself back into this race. But meanwhile, this fight for 3rd is all important for the championship, as Frantic leads from Harvey, and let's see how this one goes. Kieran is going to try and get past Breathing Cow, who's not got enough ERS. He's going to sneak through the inside. There's not much the Cow can do. The Cow will let Kieran move right past him. A little late braking there. Lock up on the car, which is definitely not what we want to see, but the Cow will now get DRS. Because obviously he got him before the sector started, and thus he'll be pushing with the DRS, but not quite enough to get past Kieran, and so he can now bolt away. Remember, he's got penalties, so he needs to actually get ahead and start getting moving. He's got 5 seconds worth, so Armour is actually in a net P5, ladies and gentlemen. Not like it's going to be too much right now, but still it could be a lot, as R14 trying to go around the inside of Pepsi, the other half, as there's a yellow flag. Wait, it's Dar. I thought it was Matthew, but it's Taylor has gone round, and that's pushed Matthew's AI up into 10th place. But Taylor down in 12th. That's not helped R14 in any way. But alas, it is going to be some goodness for Matthew. Certainly he'll save his race somewhat. That's for certain. But with that said, R14 is in 6th place, pushing all the way around the outside of this corner. Really determined to get past Breathing Cow, and as we've seen with Kieran, who's managed to absolutely bolt away from the Mercedes. We'll see how this goes. Starting off with R14. Can he get past? Not quite. He's going to back out of this corner, try and get a good exit, and then he'll be able to get into P5. Tundra with the fastest lap on softs, but that's not quite going to... That will actually take the point away from everybody else. It's not in the top 10 as it stands. Pepsi going for the move on Cow to the inside. There's a yellow flag. I'm not sure where. Matthews rejoined, so that's fantastic news for him. I think it's Ferrari's gone round. But Matthew's got it all to do now. He has to climb back from actually P10. I think his AI is going to get past Kevin. Yeah, I think he's back. He's going to get past Kevin. We'll watch this little fight here, but now he's got to climb from P10 back into P6 if he's to have any realistic hope of securing the title, regardless of what happens here. Again, second place is definitely not off the cards. When you factor Kieran's got that 5-second penalty and Harvey's on the hards, it's not impossible to dream big. Certainly in HTR. We are the hyper tier of racing. Yes, Matthew was disconnected twice, Thomas933, but he has rejoined, so all is calm. Alright, all is calm. And so, but as for some reason the leader graphics just bugged out, so we don't know what the kind of stats are on any of this, which is just lovely, so we'll turn it off for the time being. But alas, it's going to be a bit of a push now, as we can see the cow a little bit struggling maybe on the mediums, perhaps, maybe that's not how they've set up the car. But alas, we'll see how this works. Since lap number 9, these drivers have all been on their tyres, respectively. In fact, the same with the top 13, there's been a range between 8 to 13, except for Kevin, fair play, is doing 17 laps. Also means I don't blame Rico for leaving there. But now, Armour Kinga going to get past a Briefing Cow, going to the outside of the corner, and he's up into 5th place. The Yahoo-sponsored car is fighting the Ineos-sponsored car, and now it's going to be an absolute drag race down here. Briefing Cow is not giving up without a fight. This is certainly not what Armour Kinga needs, but excellent defensive driving here. Sees the Welsh Dragon into 5th place, and now it's not going to be enough, but it's certainly going to help. Matthew is down in 11th place as it stands, who has rejoined. Back up to 10th. He's in a fight with Kev. So as it stands, Armour Kinga needs to get a move on here. At a minimum, get past this queue here and Harvey. But really, he'll want to take down Franek as well, as in getting past him on the road, if he's to have any chance of winning the championship. And if he can do that, that would be a comeback and a half if I've ever seen one. But alas, we'll check how Matthew's doing. He has cleared Kev, who's on fair play, 18 lap mediums. There's a yellow flag. Briefing Cow has been spun round, I think, or is maybe just bollock. Whoa! I think they just dropped it on their own there, and it's a full course safety car. That is exactly what Franek needed, what Harvey needed, what everybody needed, but more so Matthew. Right, let's see who dives in. Kieran, Pepski, Armour Kinga, Sam. We don't know what Haz is going to do. He's on a set of hearts. He will probably go and do it with positive. But what about Matthew? He's keeping to the delta, it seems. Is he going to do it? I mean, his mediums could go to the end. We'll find out now. Franek is leaving the pit lane as it stands, so he will take the lead on a set of softs. Matthew is pitting as well, but there's a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, just to make his day even worse. So Franek leads from Harvey, from Pep, who's gone on the mediums, which is quite interesting of a call. Armour Kinga's full, and Matthew's internet has disconnected again. Oh, his day just can't get any worse, can it, lads? 3 disconnections in a row. Armour Kinga's 4th. Kieran is in 5th. Hazza is in 6th place. Sam is in 7th positive. 8th. Matthew just about able to retain 9th. From Kevin, who's gone on to a set of hards. I think that's a mistake there. Taylor's in 11th. Jerka is in 12th. Norton will be up into 13th, which I think they'll be very happy with. And Tundra in 14th place. But as it stands, Matthew is still the champion, but this is exactly what Armour Kinga needs. He needs to do this, and he needs to crucially get into the win. Because as it stands, if he can get the win, and Matthew's in 9th, he's won. Are you feeling so confident, stream chat, about Matthew now winning? Especially Red Steve 93? And so, oh, though, Thomas93 says Armour might still win. That's an interesting call. That's an interesting call. Pepsi choosing the mediums, which is going to be interesting. I think that will serve him at the end of the stint. Again, I'd say around lap 25, the geezers on the softs are going to struggle. Unless Solid and Harvey crash, I think Matthew has the title in the bag. Interesting, we've got a nice difference of opinion here. Always good to see at HTR, but let's run you through the order anyway. It's Frantic in the lead on their final race for HTR. In first, from Harvey in the Aston Martin. Pepsi doing a great job in third, but on the mediums. From Armour Kinga, the title contender, who is going to finish second as it stands. From Kieran in fifth. Hazard, the leading Alfa Romeo, in sixth. Not a bad result from them so far. Hazard's in sixth, of course, but Sam is in seventh. And to complete this little white and red car quartet, it is Positive, the Tier 2 champion, in 8th place. Matthew, with internet issues galore, is in 9th. Taylor is in 10th after a couple of spinalas. Jerker in 11th. Kevin is in 12th. Norton in 13th. The Tundra getting a penalty for corner cutting and just having a bit of an off day in 14th place. The tension is absolutely palpable here in the Fadoodle office. You could cut the tension between me, Kizzy and the game with a knife. It's absolutely mental. But you know I love you, missus. And you know I love you all as well. Because this is it. After the victory donuts, that's it. That's it, sadly. I don't think he'll be coming in this lap because Tundra's a little bit too far away. We'll see what Bert Mylander and the safety car thinks. This race, this is going to be very intense. Oh dear. This is our second season each year. Don't worry, Tier 1 will be returning. But since the safety car's not coming in this lap, I think it's the obligatory point in time to let you know about how you can support us. You can support us by going over to our Twitch or Discord server and giving us either a subscription if you ever feel so generous to, or Discord Nitro, which will allow us to improve the operations of the server. If you'd like to catch any highlights when they get posted, they'll be on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to ring the bell and join our notification squad to be notified immediately when a video goes up. And also, do not forget as well, any funny clips, you can see them here. They may also be posted to Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. And if you want to catch me personally, my name is Fadoodle. Nice to meet you all. I know, Kizzy doesn't appear in all my videos, because she prefers the private life. Don't you? You prefer the quiet life, don't you? You're not a doggy ready for camera, are you? No, not yet anyway. And you can follow me at Fadoodle version 2. I have just dropped a video today, actually. The Ultimate Career, where my objective is to try and win the Drivers' Championship on the Formula 1 2016 game, but without actually driving. Yeah, it's a really strange phenomenon. But if you want to check it out, the series is out. We're on episode 20-something ridiculous, I think 27, which is just mad to think how much content I was able to crank out in one summer. But alas, the safety car will come in this lap. Everybody's all bunched up. We've got 6 laps of action. If you've just joined us and you've skipped the plug part, it's straightforward as this. Armour Kinga, the driver we're seeing, needs to finish second, and Taylor's retired! That's another geezer out of the race, sadly, but then I think they've crashed under the safety car. But Armour Kinga, in the other blue car, as safety car is coming in this lap, needs to win. As Matthew's got a 5-second penalty for serving a collision with Jerker! So what does that mean? Matthew has got 10 seconds of penalties, and there's all of Ferrari's round. Jerker is round. Norton has got a collision with Kev, and this is going to change it now. But with 10 seconds of penalties, Matthew needs to finish in the top 6 to guarantee himself the title. Taylor is left, but Armour Kinga needs to get top 2. Preferably with the fastest lap, if he's to win. And so we're going boogity for the final stretch of Tier 1. Let's join at the front first, because of course it's the most exciting part.
as Harvey. Now on the fresh set of softs, along with Franek. He's going to try a move, but not quite. He's going to think better of it. Our Tier 1 champion. Current reigning Tier 1 champion, actually. Won back last year. Doing an excellent job in trying to get past Franek when possible. Pepsi sitting in 3rd place on those mediums as Arna Kinga is fighting for 4th, but Slachiron, as his teammate Sam actually is getting past Hazza. But yes, it is the Red Bulls in 5th and 6th. Matthew, though, in 9th place, trying to do everything he can. He's got 10 seconds worth of penalties. Whilst he could definitely rescind them, they are of 5 seconds of value. Ultimately, he's just going to try and push with it and see what happens. Arna Kinga is in 4th place. He needs to get to certainly past Pepsi, but definitely beat either Harvey or Franek or both as it stands to mathematically seal the title away, because on Counterbag Matthew has won 4 races and Ahmed's only won 2. Norton doing a great job considering Tier 1, up in 11th. Big ups to the Norton Nation. And Exorton, I don't know how you say the name properly, but is Arma King about to make the move on Pepsi Man? We'll see how it works. The man who's combined Pepsi and skis together, we'll see how this works. Arma Kinga, he's probably going to use his ERS. Yes, he is. Jerk got a penalty for multiple warnings. But alas, he's going to skedaddle to the outside, I think. Yes, he will. And with those fresh softs, Pepsi not going to fight this one too hard. Remember, he's got the tyre advantage at the end of the race. Arma Kinga locks up a bit, and now is into 3rd place. But it's not quite enough. Because how it is, it's 18-point gap. Matthew's got 16, and then there's a yellow flag. And Norton, I think, is round. Yes, they are, sadly for them. Oh dear. That is how it stands at the moment. Actually, no, with all the penalties, though, let's check how this would affect it. Yeah, so he would drop 10, as Matthew's just got past positive, but we need to see what the penalties would do to the race. 7, 9, interval, 6, 7. Yeah, he'd be 12. So as it stands, Arma Kinga would be off by just a couple of points. I believe only 1, I think, as it stands, which is incredibly close, all things considered. Yet no, he'd be off by 3 points, my apologies. So he needs to get the 2nd place if he's to have any chance of winning this title. The cards are literally in Arma's favour here. As we saw at look at that. Kieran, nice job there, quietly getting past Pepsi. Not a bad move at all. Franek, though, with some clear, stupid pace, as I predicted them to win this race, with a 127.9. DRS is enabled now. Remember, there's a lot of penalties on Matthew, and whilst he could rescind some of them, he's choosing not to. But alas, this fighting is going to help Arma push his way forward. If he can win this race, he's gone and done it. But remember, the soft compounded tyres are going to start degrading in the next lap or so, if not now. So the number 21 Alpine has got a long way to climb as it stands, with the number 21 AlphaTauri and the 48 of the Aston Martin pulling out a sizable lead. It's about 3 seconds, but if he can close it down 1 per lap and overtake them, he could be within a shadow of winning. Certainly 2nd, as Harvey is fallen off the pace of Franek, who frankly I think has done a great job this race, and I think throughout the season have had some great performances. China always comes to my mind, but alas. Let's see how Matthew's getting along. He's in 9th place, positive, being a bit of a negative for him. Doing a great defensive job from the Tier 2 champion. But again, positive doesn't have the penalties. He's just got to keep Matthew behind. He knows this. And alas, Kevin with the penalties would still beat him. Tundra with his penalties still beat him. Jerker with his penalties would still beat him as well, but Norton would not. So alas, Matthew is trying to sit down now. Be patient. He's got to get past the right time. He's got 80% of his ERS left. Not chooses to use it, knowing the fact that Positive's got the DRS again. He's mathematically won the title as Hazza gets past Pepsi on the mediums. Clearly that call is not quite coming into play for Pep. Certainly not anyway. But alas, Matthew is feeling very psychologically fragile at the stage. We're going to go on board with this great little scrap here. Hazza going all the way around the inside of that corner, and there's contact with Pepsi in the Haas. Oh, I think the stewards will have to look into that one. But that's another position for Matthew. Pepski, is he going to send a dive? Yes, he is, around the outside of the corner. And these two are going to keep on scrapping. But the Alfa Romeo driver, I think, has got just ahead. So great scrapping there, if a little bit dirty. But alas, is this going to be the move that Matthew finally needs to get past? Positive, actually, he might try and... Positive might do the work for him. Try and get past Pepski, but has that left him vulnerable? He's gone to the back. I think there's a bit of front wing damage potentially for Matthew. And that's not what he needs, but he's going to send it around the inside of Positive. And thus, excellent move, showing why he could be the Tier 1 champion this evening. And has cleared him on the road. But again, those penalties are going to withstand, most likely. But even so, he secured it, whether the penalties get rescinded or not. Armakinga is in third. He's not quite having the pace as Harvey and Franek, pulling out a nice DRS train from the Welsh Dragon. Again, he has to psychologically think behind, whereas the other two, they don't have to care what's going on behind. They can just concentrate on driving forwards. That said, is Matthew going to get past Pepsi this lap? No. Is Armaking about to get defeated by Kieran this lap? No, but a lock up there. A little bit of pressure on the Welsh Dragon. But we're now approaching the absolute final lap. We've only got 3 left in the whole of HTR Tier 1 for the Season 2 Championship. We've only got just a couple left. And thus, it's becoming the absolute fight of the century as it stands, with Franek leading this race with a nice 2-second cushion from Harvey. Again, a great, if not quiet, a demonstration as to why Franek is a very solid driver. But Armakinga, he needs to pull that gap. He needs to get that 1 second over Kieran, who's also on a sort of soft tyre, the same lap level. But again, 6 laps on softs. It's going to be costly. Maybe should Armakinga maybe stayed out on his tyres, perhaps? Yes, it's one of those what ifs, eh? But alas, he didn't dare to dream with that and went on to a set of softs. And with just 2 laps to go in the whole of HTR Tier 1, at this point, as Matthew has gotten past Pepsi, leaving him not a lot of room, I gotta say. He's getting a little bit desperate now for some moves, but he's done it. He's just got to get past Hazard, and he will secure the championship, at least on the road. But remember, the penalties will withstand, so unless if Franek and Harvey do collide, it's pretty unlikely Arma's going to win now, but he's still going to give it a good old go. He's got that fire that represents the Welsh Dragon, and that's why I always call him the Welsh Dragon. But alas, Franek is leading from Harvey, from Armakinga. Kieran, again, outdoing Sam, which is going to be good for pride, isn't it? I mean, sure, Sam has accrued more points throughout the season, but there is some points to be fought for in the drivers. A Tundra has been sent round, and the Haas driver's day has been compiled with a collision with Kev. And I think the Haas driver is going to be very much having the day of the dumpster. And with the other one taking a gamble call, they're just didn't quite go our way. But to be fair, we've had some good luck the past couple of races, so I personally, as a Haas driver, can't really whinge. But it's time for the final lap of the whole of Tier 1 racing. Armakinga is in third as it stands, and Matthew got him past Hazard, which crucially means he will win, at least on the road, but it depends on penalties. As it stands, he will drop down to P11. 11 or 12 as Kieran has got past Armakinga, and that, excuse me, is absolutely crucial for that title. Kieran getting past, and the Red Bulls working to Matthew's favour, blocking the Alpine, who's going to send it all the way around the inside, but alas, is going to keep fighting. Fair play, but just doesn't have the grip on the soft tyres. The number 71 Red Bull of Sam doing what he needs to do to keep himself in front of Armakinga, and now Matthew, despite all the disconnections and the Spinala, is sitting in 6th place. This is nothing short of an incredible drive. Let's see what these two can do. We will cut to the winner celebrations in a moment, but alas, it's not quite going to be enough as Armakinga is sitting they're right for this win in terms of the on-track battle. Again, he has pulled enough of a gap over Kev, so we will be in P11. But yeah, this is going to get very interesting. It's coming round the final corner for their final race. ERL Franeker Poland wins this wonderful Grand Prix. Harvey will come in second, Kieran third. And the Alpines, they've taken each other out! They've taken each other out! The two Alpines have taken each other out! They're doing donuts! They do not care, it seems, because even with everything being said and done, Matthew 7034 in this planned demonstration wins the Tier 1 Championship of Hyper Tier Racing. They are your new Drivers' Champion. Harvey will pass the virtual crown and trophy as the fastest driver of HTR over to Matthew. He was a rookie into this season and he has demonstrated some incredible pace throughout it. And now is your Drivers' Champion. As the two Alpines in good sportsmanship driving side by side to the line, it's going to be Matthew 7034, your champion. Armour Kinga put up a great final season. Matthew just had a few too many races and things didn't quite go Armour's way today for him to win the standings. And so we'll let you enjoy the podium celebrations. Thank you so much, ERL Esports, for joining us. And yeah, indeed, Franek did an incredible performance to win. Certainly a quiet one from the front, but it was certainly a good one nonetheless. As they have won the final race of HTR Season 1, and I'd just like to say we'll absolutely miss you. Solid. You've been a very solid driver for us, and I hope over at ERL you'll be an even more stronger than whatever the... what's the word? More than whatever the strongest square in Minecraft is. Harvey finishes in second. Yes, the former reigning champion will be very happy with that one. Kieran in third on the podium. Sam in fourth. Hansa fifth. Pepski sixth. Positive seventh. Jerker in eighth. Kevin ninth. Tundra grabbing points. Norton just missing out sadly. Armour Kinga 12th. Obviously doing a demonstration of donuts. But Matthew 7034 is your Drivers' Champion for Season 2. And despite Armour coming close, he crucially helped out in Alpine, securing the Constructors' standings. Whoa! That was some race. And well, before you start getting emotional, no, this is not the end of the season. We have got 2 more races to go. One will be on Tuesday, approximately 6:45 British time. Remember, the clocks have gone back, obviously, in the past couple of days as of time of streaming. So it's going to be a little bit sooner. Actually, yeah, a bit sooner. Wait, is it sooner? Yeah, sooner than what you expect, because the clock's gone back an hour. Actually, no, later, because, yeah, we gained an hour of life. Yes, okay, fair enough. My bad. And we will be then broadcasting on Wednesday for what could be the final ever race of Hyper Tier Racing at Formula 2. And then that is all she wrote for the second season. But alas, I've been for Doodle version 2. And thank you all so much for watching us throughout Tier 1. It's been my pleasure. But for the last time on a Mondays, but it won't be the last time on me, I hope, but if it is, thank you all so much for watching this season. I'm very, very grateful, and until next time, don't forget to sanitize where you go, wear your mask, stay safe, goodbye my friend.